This might not make that much sense, but I'm gonna try and say it anyways. Sometimes I feel like I go through certain things, and instead of being upset about them, like instead of being upset about being mistreated, I know that didn't make much sense, but stay with me for a moment. Instead of saying, I'm walking down a grocery aisle, and most time people don't say, excuse me. And you sort of just stand there and linger there in this like awkward way. And you don't know if they're like just looking or if they are waiting for you to get out the way. So it's just like this awkwardness, right? Or maybe they can't get around you and you haven't noticed that they can't get around you. I found myself sometimes unwilling to be the bigger person, meaning there's a couple options I have, right? I can ask the person, are you trying to get through? Am I in your way? In the most polite way I possibly could, because I'm sure to be irritated, which is mostly why I don't say anything. Or I could just go ahead and move out their way and stare at them while I need to get back to wherever it is that I'm trying to look at, especially if I'm trying to make a decision. And sometimes in those instances, because I will do that from time to time, sometimes in those instances, it is better that way, because sometimes they'll grab one of the items that I'm debating between, and it'll make it easy for me to just be like, oh, they took it, so I can go ahead and get the other thing that I was considering. And so far that's worked out for me, but in those few moments that I've done it, but I'm pretty sure it's not always going to be the case. But I mean, there's definitely options I could do on my part that I have control over, instead of just standing there and being annoyed, right? But sometimes you just really don't want to, even though it's not the right thing to do. Them being incapable of saying excuse me doesn't justify you by any means, or me, because I'm not saying it like I don't fall victim to this. I do. I am working on it. I am aware. But it doesn't justify you doing something in reciprocation of assuming that that's why they're being jerks, that they're just standing there waiting for you to get out of the way and incapable of saying excuse me. That doesn't excuse you from being a jerk and just standing there and lingering there, and not saying anything to them. So it's stuff like that, where, or similar to it, where you need to think of a way that you can be more positive, that suits you. Handle the situation in a more positive way and be the bigger person. Because I feel like a lot of people take things for granted, and you just don't know what that person's going through that day. With quarantine, a lot of people, well, COVID in general, a lot of people just don't like talking through the mask. Some people are just shy. So we make up this reason as to why it's okay for us to stand there and linger there, or not ask them, even if we are comfortable, not ask them, hey, am I in your way? Or, can you get through? Whatever the case may be. Just go ahead and do the right thing. The other thing that's heavy on my mind is taking situations for granted. I can be lazy at times. We all can. And sometimes I really miss not having to bring in the groceries by myself. So I tell myself, or just other little things, just things that I used to get help with, or I didn't get help with at all. And I've seen other people get help, which means it's possible for one day for me to be in a situation to where someone's just going to offer their help, and it's going to be foreign to me, and I want to be very appreciative of those moments because I feel like I took it for granted, or I was definitely upset in those moments that I didn't have help. So now I just want to be more conscious and aware that when I do get that help, to actually appreciate it. Even if it's just simply saying thank you, I really appreciate it, even if that's the best that you can do in that moment. Unless it's a huge favor and you can repay them back in some type of way, then try and figure out how to do that, what that looks like. Just plan for more positive actions in the future. And don't be so hard on yourself if you don't execute them. You are human and you are learning to do something. Like, practice these things. It's not like you can just go out there and be like, oh, this is what I want to do every single time someone helps me with the groceries. And then be super hard on yourself if you don't do it, or if you're uncomfortable in that moment to do it, because just a simple thought and just the fact that you were going to attempt is more progress than what you were doing before. You weren't trying before, so you're trying now. And give yourself some time, like you're human. And also give other people some time. I know it sucks, but it might be you who's holding up somebody, and it sucks for them. It's just, there's only so much you can do. And as long as you're doing your best, and as long as you're doing what's right, and as long as you continue to try and grow, then it's worth it. It's worth it. Daydreaming. There was something else I wanted to cover, but that was the heaviest part that was on my heart, so I got it off my chest, and I'm probably going to eat a snack and go to bed. Watch anime, and probably smoke. And I'm just gonna leave that at that. So, have a happy night. Think about those things that you can try and do the next time you come into a situation that you run into a lot that bothers you. Figure out a way to be positive about it. Take some of the control back of that situation. If it bothers you and all it takes is for you to ask some questions or just move out the way, or whatever the case may be, whatever is most comfortable to you in that uncomfortable moment. I hope you find it. In the meantime, I will be over here thinking about you, believing in you, and being so happy for you and your journey. I look forward to your progress and how things turn out for you, how you change your world, because that's what's important. Changing the world, that's too big of a task for any one person, but changing your world, regardless of how small or how big, if it's just you or your family, friends, coworkers, pets, you know, as long as you can make a difference in your world, then that's all that matters. And I'm so happy for you. And I'm looking forward to it, truly. So I love you and have a happy night.